This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich,
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
and we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Discipline turns average into unstoppable, and distraction turns genius into wasted potential.
Ooh, we are getting spicy today on the Level Up Podcast. I am here with my girl, Taylor. Taylor, how are you? We have like I said, kind of a spicy one that I think might ruffle some feathers, but it is all for the good of everyone who's listening today.
Everyone needs a little tough love, and a hot take has never hurt anyone, especially when it's true. But last week, we kind of alluded to the idea that, um, everyone either has talent or a skill set. And talent is something that is natural to people. Like, have you ever just met somebody who was able to just effortlessly do something so incredibly well the first time they did it? And you were like, how are you so good at this and you've never even like picked this up before? That's how my middle daughter is with art. Like, she's very talented at drawing, and her older sister, bless her heart, she just is not as artistically inclined, but she has learned through like how to draw different books and like coming up with like tactics and processes and systems, and she can compete with her sister who just has that natural talent. So that can really come through with some of us in the wedding industry as artists. Some of us pick up a camera and we are just naturally gifted and it comes so easy to us, while others, myself included, we have a solid skill set that we had to work for, and that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. That goes in everything, whether it's Taylor's daughters, one that just has that natural ability and the other that really had to work for it, but now they're on equal playing fields. The same can be said for us as filmmakers and photographers. There's just some of us where you pick up the camera and it is just wired into our brain automatically, like what composition should feel like, what it should look like. I even could see the same thing too when it comes to like interior design. So like I have a few friends of mine that are just like so naturally gifted at interior design. Like they just know what patterns work, how a room should be laid out. And then there's other people that are like, they really try to figure out like how to make it work, but it's going to take like, reading up on some like interior design books, or it's going to take, learning through different types of things in order to like really make it all click for us. So I think that there's no wrong way to get there, but it's what we do with the focus once we do get there that really sets the stage for the potential of our businesses.
Absolutely. And we talk about this all the time if you're an OG podcast listener, that Kelly and I are two sides to the same coin. I'm definitely more business minded with an artistic ability, or an artistic skill set, and she's more gifted when it comes to the artistic side and has to work really hard when it comes to the business side. It's less natural. So we're going to be talking today about how you really do need two sides of the coin, the artistic side as well as the business side, to be up to the same level, and how talent isn't enough. If you are lacking in either of these areas, you really do need to focus and become disciplined in order to reach those goals. You can't rely on your business savvy only, or your artistic side only. Whatever is lacking in your business, discipline is going to win out.
Absolutely. Just baseline, I see this a lot when it comes to filmmakers and photographers thinking they need to live on like all the platforms. So if you look at, to stay focused, like pouring yourself into like one to show up on that specific platform, versus feeling like you have to be like over here and you have to do little bits over here and then you have to do little bits over there, like showing up in a very diluted way rather than like a very focused, full, whole self way into like, let's say it's Instagram or whatever it may be. But I shared a story a while ago. Again, OG podcast listeners, you may know, but I was out in the backyard one day with my daughter and she was blowing bubbles and she was trying to pop all of the bubbles, like trying to pop them all. And she was not popping a single bubble because she was just spread too thin. Her approach was diluted. She didn't know which one to go after and she would pop none of them until I watched her just really change her mindset and decide, okay, I'm going to blow these bubbles and then I'm going to focus on one. I'm going to go after that one and I'm going to like execute and pop that one bubble. And she was so successful. When she focused on that one bubble, she was able to nail it every single time rather than blowing, 20 bubbles and trying to go after all of them and was unsuccessful at none of them. And so I just want us to kind of like self reflect on what that may be looking like here in 2025 for your business. Are you distracted and not hyper focused on where you should be showing up online? Or are you really just trying to grab at all of the inquiries that are coming into your inbox and it's not really serving you really well? It's not landing you the clients that you want to be booking, the weddings that are going to move the needle in your business, rather than having more of that rewired strategy in place to really focus on what you want to be doing in your business, who you want to show up for, and where you want to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Two kind of concepts came to mind for me. If you try to be everywhere at once, you will be nowhere in a meaningful way. And if you try to be everything to everyone, you will be nothing to no one. So that can kind of look multiple ways, right? So, kind of to your social media thing, like if you really try to show up Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, blog, YouTube, X, Twitter, whatever. You're just
Threads,
it's
who
yeah,
knows?
threads. It's going to be too much. You're going to feel so overwhelmed and you're not going to gain any meaningful traction in any of those areas. But if you hone in on the bubble that matters in your business, and for the vast majority of us, it's Instagram, guys. It's Instagram. We know that TikTok seems like the shiny new toy, but Instagram is tried and true over the years, and it's still where the industry lives and thrives. And if you focus on that, your efforts are going to be more, focused. So imagine your business is a magnifying glass, right? And if you shine the sun through a magnifying glass, you can burn a hole in a leaf, right? But if you take the magnifying glass away because you're not focused, then the sunlight does no damage to the leaf. So you really need to bring out that magnifying glass and really focus in on just one area to condense all of that energy to see any meaningful change. And then also, like, trying to be everything to everyone. This is where we start seeing people like, okay, we'll take the photo and video kind of like concept. So you're a
Uh-oh,
photographer.
uh-oh, are you going there? Are you going there? Wow, it
I'm
is
going here.
spicier than I thought.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna go there. Yeah. If you're a photographer and you're like, I'm really tired of sending inquiries to videographers, I think I could bring that in-house. And you try to now also offer video. And then you're like, oh, you know what? I'm also really tired of these content creators. So you start offering content creation. And then you're like, you know what? I think I could also do, I could probably also, like, I know how to do photos. I can handle the photo booth too. And you try to take on the photo booth. Like, all of a sudden, you've insanely diluted this brand that you've like focused so hard on working towards. And the fact is that, like, you can't be amazing at all of those things all at once. You just really can't. Like, you can't be an insanely talented, piano player and wakeboarder and golfer and interior designer. Like, there's just not enough talent in the world to like have all of that within one person. And so the beauty of business is you don't have to do it all. And those that focus on what they do and what they bring to the table are going to win. They are going to be the most talented because all of those hours of the day were focused on just building one skill set. And then they're going to be the most profitable because they're going to be the most in demand because they're focused. So,
So well said, needed to be said, spicy hot take, come at us in the DMs, but we love to open it up.
we do. And I mean, that's not to say there aren't companies in like the very like lower budget markets that offer all of those things in house. That's a very different volume business model. And that totally works. But if you want to be more boutique style where you're only taking on 10 to 20 weddings a year, it's just not going to be a sustainable approach for you. And you're not going to be able to demand higher prices like that. So focus, focus, focus.
Focus
And
in.
this is where, like, we talk about, like, taking the blinders off, putting the blinders on, taking the blinders off, putting the blinders on, and it's one of those things where you can appreciate what others are doing for their businesses and you can admire them, but that doesn't mean it has to be something that you do too. So, actually, I have a great example of this in my own business. So, I am very entrepreneurial minded. I'm dreaming up new businesses every day of the week, and I have to talk myself off the ledge every single day because I'm like, although I could do this, it doesn't mean I should because at the end of the day, like, it's not going to yield in the results that I want. I think 3 businesses is plenty. I need to like calm down a little bit because we had some chatter going on. If you haven't tuned into the podcast in a while, we have a new platform, a new membership community called League. And League is now sitting at over 100 members strong, which is shockingly amazing because we just started it in July. But what we love it. I'm not going to talk about League that much. I only wanted to bring up this one thing. Somebody in League posted asking for recommendations for a social media manager, and they said that Abby Zhu has a new social media management company. And I really admire Abby in her entrepreneurial like business sense. She's an incredible photographer, has a very successful associate team, and then apparently is now has a social media management team. And I was like, I could do that. And I'm doing math in my head because this person said how much she charges monthly. And I'm like, doing like the mental math. And I'm like, I could totally like turn this into a 6-figure business by next year. And I'm like, Taylor, calm down. You literally don't have enough bandwidth or energy or ability to focus on any more things. So even though I think that's an incredible idea, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could, like, if I were to lose focus on Taylor Petrinovich, like my main brand, level up, and then now buy five, like I would be spread too thin and things would start crumbling around me and I would fail at all of them, just like Sloan, your daughter, trying to chase all the bubbles. So I think this just kind of goes to show like you can admire something that somebody else has built and think something is really cool without doing it yourself.
Absolutely. I love what you said earlier. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Hmm.
So, yeah, we want to keep everyone here really focused on the discipline at hand. We are huge into that because that's just how it works in the luxury space, to be completely honest. It's just what it is. And Taylor and I actively work in the luxury space. And so I think that that's really just important to like hear and understand that there are different tactics and business models for different levels of clientele. So like we're getting into a little bit of mastermindy stuff right there. So you're welcome. You got a little tidbit of things. But it's so important to stay focused because even if you're the most talented person in the world, but you're distracted, things are going to crumble around you rather than someone who may not have that natural talent, but they are hyper focused on learning the skill. They are going to really, honestly, very quickly outpace you in business. It's
Mm.
like the rabbit versus the hare, that story that's like as old as time. Like the the rabbit's distracted. He's like running about, kind of taking different ways. I don't know the
He
total
takes
like
a
why
nap at some
he takes
point.
a nap at some point, like, right? Like, are you sleeping on your social media game? Are you distracted? But whereas the turtle is just like, hey, I understand my limits. I'm going to maintain my pace, but I'm going to be tactful. I'm going to be consistent, and he wins the race. And so I think
Mhm.
that's just like such a great lesson for us to, kind of keep in the back of our minds that like when those kind of shiny objects come up in front of us, to just stay hyper focused. I mean, when it comes to social media, I'll talk about this too. Like Taylor and I talk about it all the time as well. Like we have conversations, we chat all day long, and we said, where does our audience hang out? Like where do they hang out? And we had to be really like real with ourselves on like they hang out on Instagram. And so if you're sitting here being like, where does my audience hang out? Meaning other creative partners, where your potential clients hang out, like be really real with yourself. Where do they hang out? And that's where you need to show up.
100%. I would also say that this applies to creative styles. So I have a huge appreciation for the super ultra fine art, fine style, the more editorial, dramatic kind of style, very documentary style. I love it all. I feel like so pulled in different directions because I think each style is so beautiful in its own right. But if I were trying to capture weddings and edit in a way where I'm like piecing it together and it's kind of all of it, it would feel so convoluted and confusing to the viewer that I really have to just kind of like pick one style and go with it. And I think so kind of my story of like just appreciating other things for what they are and not feeling like you have to pursue them, it goes for the artistic style too. Like, don't feel like you need to pivot every 6 months just because a new preset came out or a new thing is really cool when it comes to, in the filmmaking world and like editing styles or posting to Instagram in a different way or just different ways we're approaching it. Like, stay true to yourself and you're going to get so much farther than if you try to, reach for all the different styles and come up short because you haven't had the chance to master any single one of them. Now, that's not to say that one big intentional pivot is not a bad thing. Like, you can definitely do that if done like intentionally for a reason. But when you start trying to grab at all the styles, artistically speaking, you're going to come up short every single time too.
Yeah. I have a story about this actually. So, just a few weeks ago, I did a wedding and I was talking with the second shooter, and he was like, when it comes to you, like, editing your films, which I think he meant like color grading, like the colors in which the films look, do you feel pressured to match your color grading style to the photographer like every time? And I was like, no, like like kindly. I was like, no. And he was like, oh, really? Like, I would think that you would like, want to like change the editing style to like match the photographer. And I'm like, no, it's backwards. It's like I've established my like brand color grading, like to build integrity within in the brand, and then because of that it brings in clientele and photographers and planners who all share an ideal client into my orbit, and we build a team based on the collective shared values, vision, stylistic preferences for that client, and we show up in alignment in that way. I
Hmm.
would totally like discredit my whole integrity as a brand if I was like bouncing around with like six different presets to match the photographer.
Yeah, no, totally. And consistency breeds trust. We talk about that a lot. And if you are inconsistent, the trust isn't going to be there because clients, planners, whoever is referring you or working with you, they're never going to know what they're going to get. They need to know for sure, for certain, what they're going to like walk away getting. It's like it's like a hotel. Like, if you never knew if like the bed was actually going to be made or is there going to be a chocolate on the pillow or not, or will there be a towel warmer in the room, or I don't know, whatever. So for example, like, I mean, this is not a luxury brand, but DoubleTree by Hilton is known for giving like freshly baked chocolate chip cookies upon check-in, right? That's like part of their brand. And if you never knew when you were checking in if you're going to get one or not, then I feel like the trust would be there and a little hesitancy would be built. The same with like, you guys, again, not luxury brands, but you can kind of see where my family hangs out. But we stay at a lot of like embassy suites because our family can't stay in a normal hotel room, and there's a lot of embassy suites everywhere, and they always do happy hour, and so you get free drinks at like 5 o'clock. And if it was like only at some locations and not at others, like, yeah, again, the consistency builds loyalty, is what I'm trying to say. And people come back time and again because they just know what to expect and they love it. They love what you're providing. It's like if you're offering like Super 8 for a decade and then like all of a sudden took away the Super 8, like people would be super bummed about that because that's why they come to you, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay focused, you guys. That's our main message to you. I know that there's been lots of shifts in the industry. There's a lot of noise out there. We understand that there's never been more of a time to be distracted, but by removing those distractions and being focused is going to give you success and help you reach heights in your business that you never knew were possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that like some tactical takeaways on how to stay focused would be really, really helpful. And off the top of my head, I will refer back to last week's episode if you haven't had a chance to listen to that. That was about why you should be obsessed with your business. And in that episode, I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't listened to the whole thing, but we talk a lot about like establishing a very firm why, like a North Star that guides you in your business and that keeps you hungry, I guess.
Mhm.
And if you are hungry and have a very specific set of reasons why you are doing what you're doing, I think that's a great way to stay focused on what really matters. Do you have any other tips for staying focused?
I think I'll go back to maybe just that one. So we put all the tips together, which is determine where your audience hangs out. Where does your ideal client hang out? Where do the creative partners that you want to be working with, where are they dedicating their marketing hours online, in which platforms? So that would be another one that I would just kind of reiterate that is so important to decide because if you're throwing in all of your time on a platform where it's never going to attract the level of clients that you want to be booking, like, sure, yes, there are brides and grooms on TikTok, and there may be outliers where you get to book a 5-figure wedding off of TikTok, but more commonly, brides are looking for a little bit more budget friendly option on TikTok. And I mean, and I'll be totally honest too, like sometimes like I'm not posting on Instagram now at this level. If you were a part of our referrals on repeat class last week, I hope that you found it so incredibly helpful. And we talk about the referral pyramid and where to be showing up and in how to show up on which ways in order to generate those referrals on repeat. And so I know that by me posting on Instagram, it's not necessarily to attract new clients because the new clients that find me on Instagram, 9 times out of 10, are very sticker shocked when they receive our collections or a proposal from us. But I'm doing it because I'm showing up to remain top of mind with the creative partners that are also hanging out on that platform. So there's like different levels of strategy on why I'm showing up. And also like your audience can change on who you want to be showing up for, which is like now, like I said, I'm not showing up to attract new potential clients. I'm showing up to remain top of mind for the planners and the photographers and other people that I would love my name to be thrown into the hat of referrals for their client, this season.
Yeah. Going along with the social media thing, don't be afraid of the mute button. I think the mute button is a great way to kind of put those virtual blinders on. If you keep having someone pop into your feed who is doing something where you feel like a pull to do what they're doing, but you know you shouldn't, it's okay to mute them. Like mute them for 30 days and then turn them back on after just until you kind of get over that.
Yeah.
Another thing, this is like a great tactic when it comes to like if you have a big purchase you want to make, but it also could be a great tactic for if you feel like you want to make a change. Take a note physically with your hand and a pen and a piece of paper, or in your notes app if you're more digitally inclined. Take note of what you want to do and set a reminder in your phone 30 days from now and see if you still want to do it. So don't do things impulsively is what I'm trying to say. Make sure you really want to do it before you take action.
I love that. Quick story time, not kind of sort of related, not really related, but um one of Paul's friends' wives, who's a friend of mine as well, she had this rule for herself that if she dreams up a tattoo that she wants and she still wants it 5 years later, then she'll let herself get it. So she's like, I have like 5 floating tattoo ideas in my head, but I just want to be sure because I know that it is such a permanent thing that like it's still going to be something that resonates with me in 5 years. And I kind of have felt like if it's gone through, she's like, and I have some tattoos that are on like their second year like of like I have 2 years I've been wanting it, and I have another one that's like on year 4. Like she's like literally tracking. Like, do I still want this? This would be the year that I would get it. And she's like, and then there's been ones that I like have loved for the idea of it for a few months, and I'm like, yeah, never mind. I would probably never want to do that. So,
Yeah.
same concept right there.
Yeah, no, we only have a set number of minutes in a day and hours in a week. And if you start diluting those minutes and those hours on pursuing different things, whether it's learning new artistic styles, taking up different marketing tactics through social media or whatever, you're more than likely going to start diluting what actually matters in your business. So just really making sure that this is something you want to pursue before you actually pursue it is very smart. Very smart. Just like adding something to your cart on that really expensive website and letting it sit there for a while before you hit purchase is probably a great habit to get into. So, this
Yep.
one is really, we say this all out of love. We've just seen people sabotage, it's like self-sabotage their own businesses due to this shiny object syndrome, the inability to stay focused, or to the turtle and the hare, the tortoise and the hare story. I think the hare's problem was he was a little arrogant and didn't think that he had to work at it.
Yeah.
And he stopped being as diligent as his counterpart, the tortoise. And that hard work and determination outpaced the talent because the hare was a little lazy and took a nap. And so, again, if you are naturally gifted, you are so talented. Like, talent oozes out of your pores, and everyone always oohs and ahs about all of the beautiful work you do. But you rely only on that to grow your business and not everything else. Your colleagues who are less talented than you, but are more determined and more diligent and more focused, will outpace you, and they're going to win the race. So you can't rest on talent alone. It's not enough. And so just a little tough love to not be too arrogant to feel like you have it all figured out and you have it all done for you to stay on top of things. Actually, one of our friends in the industry, I'm not going to say who it is, but they're at the top of the industry, and they have alluded to the fact that they fully understand that they are like the starting quarterback for Sunday football. And they're like, and I know that if I don't work hard every single day to maintain my position, there are going to be 5 other people who are willing to work harder than me to take my place. And so he's like, I know where I'm at, but I know that I need to keep working hard because there's other people who are willing to work just as hard as me. So I think that can be said for all of us at all levels, to just, I don't know, be diligent.
Yeah. Stay humble.
Stay humble, folks.
Stay humble for sure. All right. I think this one concludes this. Again, if you didn't catch last week's episode, we got obsessed about our businesses again. And then this week we are getting focused and diligent with our businesses, which I think is just such a great little refresh heading into closing out our seasons very shortly here in 2025 with our sights set on a fully profitable best year ever 2026. So as always, thank you for listening with us. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. And we also love your comments. So if you have a comment that you want to leave for us on YouTube, we read every single one of those comments. If this episode resonated with you and you want to send us a DM, we are always hanging out over there on Instagram. And if you have loved this podcast for so long, but you've never left a review, we would love for you to leave us a review in order for this podcast to grow and reach other hungry filmmakers and photographers who are ready to reach higher levels within the market. So thank you again, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.